All right, good night, everyone. Welcome back to the MIB Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Jason Craig, and tonight we have a special guest with us who is going to be sharing with you her weight loss journey, struggles, and more importantly, how it feels to have made such great progress. Without further ado, let me welcome Lystra to the show. Lystra, good night.
Good night, Jason. And how are you?
I am fabulous. What about yourself?
I'm doing well.
Very good. I'm super glad to hear that. And how are things in Trinidad?
Excessively hot.
I think that can be said for the entire Caribbean. It has been a crazy, crazy few weeks. I know it has something to do with the storms up north. So let's hope that that
Yes.
blows over.
But the weather is so erratic these days.
True, true. But let's
Okay.
hope at least the temperature, everything else could be erratic except the temperature. We need
Yeah.
that to come back down.
Yes, we do that.
Lovely. So it's great having you here. I'm glad that we're finally getting to connect on this show. So before we actually begin, let's start by you telling the audience a little bit more about yourself, where we already discussed that you're from Trinidad. So tell them a little bit more about yourself, wife, mother, etc., etc.
Okay, well, I've been a wife practically for a little over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 kids, 3 adults and 1 teen. And at least she's on her last leg of teen, so I'm glad for that. Um, and I currently right now I'm home
Mm-hmm.
because of the COVID situation and stuff like that. But I've been doing administrative work for over
Mm.
20 years.
Okay.
So most of
Okay.
my job is practically sitting down in front of a monitor all day
Ah,
for all these years.
wow. So that brings me to my next question. What would you say was the major contributing factor to your weight gain? Now, we speak to some ladies, some say it was after pregnancy, some say it was after working a shift job. In your case, what would you attribute that to?
Well, I thought of that, and I think it's actually the traditional way of bringing up of our upbringing in the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because what I would recall is that my mother would go to work, take care of the home, the family, everybody, but you never really saw her taking care of herself, putting that
Mm.
effort into, making herself look. From the time she enters the door, she puts
Mm-hmm.
on a duster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's from one chore to the other. I've seen all the women in my family more or less live that type of lifestyle. You never saw them get up and say, well, let's go exercise or let me go to the beauty. The only thing they used to do is do their hair,
Oh, wow.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I would attribute that to the traditional lifestyle upbringing
Mm-hmm.
because they never tell you, listen, make yourself a priority. Their actually words were, your priority is your husband and your home,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So growing up that way, you never really thought of you can do it differently,
Mm.
right? And be able to balance it. So we more or
Mm-hmm.
less focused on going to work,
Mm-hmm.
coming home, preparing everything. I mean, from the time a woman gets up in the morning, she's on the go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Make sure everybody gets something to eat. Make sure if anybody's at home, make sure there's food in the refrigerator or you have to cook something. You leave and
Mm-hmm.
you go to, you spend 8 to 9 hours out there. And then you spend an hour in traffic to get back home. And when you
Mm-hmm.
get back home, you have to make sure dinner is prepared, the house is clean, etc. As far as we're concerned, we don't have any time for us.
Right. This is the first time I've actually heard that response, and it's really deep because I've never thought about it like that. But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So, at what point did you realize that, okay, I'm not comfortable with this weight gain? I need to do something about it. What was the turning point for you that made you decide to actually attempt weight loss?
Well, actually, what happened is that, I'm sitting at work every day and I'm like, if I had time to take care of myself, you always want to say, I'll get up early in the morning, I'll go and exercise, I will make sure I have proper meals and stuff like that. So when COVID happened, Of course, for the
Mm-hmm.
first couple of weeks of COVID, everybody cook up a storm and we ate everything in sight and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it dawned on me, I said, wait now, you're wasting time. You have the time now. I mean, you've been praying about it all this time and look how it shows up to you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So with COVID, I was able to actually schedule a proper routine in the comfort of home without having to be stressed. Oh, I have to go to work for X time. I have to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started on my own before, just
Uh-huh.
cooking meals, right? But I didn't have all the information that I needed to get to the point that I am right now.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw the ad on the internet. What gravitated to me with the ad was that it's saying to me that I don't have to go and look for things like zucchini and steak and this sort of stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
can use everything in my home country to achieve my results.
Mm-hmm.
So the program, the MIB program, targeted Caribbean women,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what I mean. I normally don't, take my go out there and do these things, but it was
Mm-hmm.
very enticing to me. And then I said to myself, like, look how everything is falling into place. So I decided, listen,
Mm.
it's time to stop wasting time and get on this program.
Okay. Okay. And when you actually started the MIB program, what was the first action step you took?
Well, I actually registered with you all around the middle of May,
Mm-hmm.
but then I got complacent after a while. I did not start the program in the middle of May. You
Mm-hmm.
procrastinate. So I procrastinated. And then around the end of May, I decided again, listen, you're wasting time and you're wasting other people's time. And you would want to see the result at the end of the 6 weeks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So then I started. It was it was not the meal plans, the way, what to eat and stuff and how to prepare was not a challenge for me. The challenge
Mm-hmm.
was the exercise, that I have to get up and exercise,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
And that was challenging.
Okay. And why was it challenging? Just out of curiosity.
Most of us don't like exercising.
You're the second person I spoke to today that said that, but
Yeah,
I had to allow you to say it.
most women don't like to exercise. We love the results of it,
Mm-hmm.
but to actually get up and be consistent with it and focus and stuff, we don't really like it.
So how did you get past that? I mean, you don't like exercise. That was a challenge. How did you break past that barrier?
You see, I think it's mainly a mindset thing that you have to make up your mind that if you
Mm.
want to get certain results, you have to change your way and attitude,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of all the things I don't want to happen to me, and I'm saying, what I got to lose because I've done everything else. I mean, I've eaten all the food I can eat. I've, gained all this amount of weight. I mean, it's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
weight, right? And I started to talk to myself and ask myself, what is it you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
want at the end of this, let's say COVID period, or the end of this 6 weeks, to really look good and feel good? And there's only one way to do it. So every time that I don't feel like going out,
Mm-hmm.
because I would more or less move around in the area and stuff like that, I would just remind myself, just imagine how good you would look at the end of the 6 weeks. You
Mm.
know?
Mm-hmm. Nice. And apart from the exercises, were there any other challenges that you found with the program?
No, not really, No.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say I
Mm-hmm.
and the thing with the program is that I love the natural food,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I
Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
love salads, I love soups, I love doing smoothies and juices,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that wasn't a problem. What one of the things is that you're realizing how you could utilize the
Okay.
yes. So you realize, listen, you don't always have to boil, you don't always have to bake. You can go raw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I started to do more raw, recognized I was getting good results. Because, like, okay, for example, if I sit down in the office by 2 o'clock in the day, my ankles and things are swollen,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one of the first thing I recognized is that wait, my limbs wasn't swollen anymore. And when I get up first thing in the morning, my joints would ache.
Hmm.
And those things were two of the first things that I recognized that, wow, had actually diminished
Wow.
considerably, right? So just by changing up the diet,
Uh-huh.
mainly to a lot of raw stuff, nothing processed, I get to
Mm-hmm.
realize, wait, no, this thing is working, and I don't. It made me realize that, listen, you don't need to go to a doctor at this stage to
Mm-hmm.
find out, for them to put you on blood pressure medication for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's one of the concern, because they have tried it a couple times, well, and I don't really take it. Because
Okay.
when you look at television, it tells you if you take this
Mm-hmm.
medication that doctors prescribe, it will affect your kidneys, your liver, and you saw all the underlying fine prints underneath it. I didn't want that,
Ah. Mm-hmm.
right? So I realized the natural foods was working,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that I was also, trying to move, keep moving,
Mm-hmm.
it helped with my adrenaline and the blood flow and stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice. So, Lystra, for the audience listening, you mentioned that you have made progress. Now, in numbers, how much weight have you lost to date?
Okay. When I started, I was 210 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And today I am 164 pounds.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. That's like 56
40,
pounds.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow. That is a lot.
Yes,
Wow.
in such a short space of time, eh?
So my next question to you now,
Mhm.
how does it feel?
You actually feel like a feather. I know what a feather feels like, because all this weight. No, seriously, it's like you feel so light.
Mm-hmm.
You have more energy. You don't feel like as soon as it get dark outside like a fowl, as soon as it
Mm-hmm.
get dark, you're feeling sleepy, tired, and drained. No. And as I
Mm-hmm.
said, a lot of my health issues in terms of the blood pressure, the cholesterol and stuff, because I have a holistic person that I will go by and check all these levels.
Mm-hmm.
And she was amazed when she actually saw me, because she saw me in February. And when I went back to her this month, she was very surprised.
Wow.
She said, wow, you lost a lot of weight. And when she did the reading, she said a lot of stuff have come down
Shh.
from February month.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, what are you doing? So I told her, I say, I'm mainly on a lot of raw stuff, all natural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The filtered water, of course, is, as we know, is also
Mm-hmm.
another thing. Yeah, and yeah, working it out, doing my exercise routines, keeping up with it.
Nice. Nice. And the side benefits here you mentioned about like getting the blood pressure, the cholesterol down. That's amazing though, from the diet change, seeing these parameters now come into a normal level.
Because the thing is, every week I'm in the market.
Ah.
I hardly, when I go to the supermarket, it's like there isn't anything in the supermarket really for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be visiting the market, the greengrocers, at least weekly. They
Mm-hmm.
stock up weekly, right? And
Okay.
we don't, yeah, we don't snack on processed stuff. I mean, if you're a little hungry, some nuts, seeds, grapes, you know. So you just have to keep focusing on what you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. And this is just for the audience listening here. Just walk us through like what a day meal will look like. So what would you eat for breakfast, lunch, and if you have dinner? What do those meals consist of?
Okay, let's say for example, my one of my breakfast meal may consist of a green juice, which is
Hmm.
more like I will do like cucumber is a must,
Hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
garlic, um, ginger, kale or pak choy or spinach, any greens you choose, right? I will of course introduce some apple into that because you need a bit of sweetness in
Mm-hmm.
that. Your main water source would be from your cucumber,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I
Mm-hmm.
will
Mm-hmm.
start. Sorry, first thing in the morning, I always start off with a cayenne warm water lemon drink. That's the first thing in the morning.
Hmm. Okay.
Yes. And then after that, I will go to my green juice. And that
Mm-hmm.
will hold me. If I don't
Wow.
do a green juice, I will do a smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
And that will keep me going because during that period, you're drinking water. You're drinking lots of
Ah.
water. Yeah. Even if you start to feel a hunger pang, it may not be hunger. So I will
Mm-hmm.
consume water, and sometimes my water is flavored water with cucumber, lemons, ginger, the cinnamon. So I mix it up because you don't want to get bored. Yeah,
Right.
right. Lunch could be soup and salad, but
Mm-hmm.
my meal, of course, as I have learned, must be balanced. So I will have
Mm-hmm.
protein, carbohydrates, and lots of greens. Most of my plate
Nice.
is filled with greens, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
am not, we shouldn't be eaten and it's bland, right? I
Mm.
make my own salad dressings. And if I
Hmm.
choose to have a soup with my soup will be what, use as a salad dressing.
Okay. Okay. Very creative, and you kind of mixing and matching everything to add flavor
I realize
and variety.
I love, I like doing that, right?
So I can see cooking is one of your strong points as well.
I guess so. But not really cooking, but it's actually everything is raw. Because sometimes when I think of cooking, the most I may have to cook is like boil up or bake a sweet potato or some green fig,
Hmm.
dashi, those things. Or I might do some quinoa,
Okay. Hmm.
right? So maybe a
Ah.
one dish thing. But while I am doing this, I still have to cook for the family. So, it's a balance thing we have to deal with here.
How does that work out though? Like cooking the way you cook and then having to cook for your family. Like how do you do it? What's your strategy?
Well, I am always a person who does everything early, right? And I think that's a
Hmm.
sign. So I always put in my mind, what am I going to feed my family on a particular day,
Hmm.
and come up with what to do. So, like, if I'm making stewed chicken with rice and peas and stuff for them, if I because if I'm eating the beans from them, I will cook it as close to as natural as possible. They don't know this, eh? They're not getting any
Hmm.
grease. They're getting all the fresh seasoning. They are getting Himalayan salt, right?
Wow.
So
Nice.
part of that, yes, part of that cooking will go towards my meal, right? So it makes it easier for me because I don't have to cook everything. I cook for them and I make sure that part of their meal could be mine, right? So I will use the peas from
Mm.
their meal, make a big salad. I might throw a couple potatoes in the oven, and there I have my meal. They have theirs.
Okay. Wow. Smart. I like that. I like that strategy. Because when you
Yeah,
enter the
that is
kitchen, you're
finding
kind of
somebody
making
that.
that strategy work for you.
Oh yeah, you have to. Or else you will lose.
Nice.
You would lose the focus.
Hmm.
If you don't make it work, you would lose the focus. On what you're trying
Okay.
to achieve. If anybody wants to if they want to say, "Oh, I like how that looks. Can I have some?" No problem. But I know they're not gonna
Hmm.
stick with it. So when they're ready.
Ah, got you. And earlier you mentioned that the exercise was a challenge for you. What is your relationship with the exercise now?
Actually, right now for a little while I have not been 100%. So I was told to hold up on
Okay.
exercising, and
Okay. Okay.
I was feeling guilty. I started feeling
Hmm.
guilty that I cannot get up and work out.
Oh dear.
Right? Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's to tell you, because I think once you realize that everything works cohesively together,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think you would recognize you need to do it, right? And as I
Ah.
said, the discipline to get up. And I mean, I had problems in the beginning. I mean, I some days I would get up, some days I wouldn't. I would get up, but I wouldn't exercise because I'll find so many other things to do, and it's so easy to
Mm.
find excuses, right? So my thing,
Right. Right.
I will come to the kitchen and I will start to do a million and one things in the kitchen, and
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
not bother with the workout. But falling into the routine, get to realize this, work out first, and then you head to the kitchen because I have the time,
Ah, got you.
right? So
Got you. So now it. Mhm.
one of the
No,
things
go
I
ahead.
recognize is that if I was working still,
Uh-huh.
it would have been a little more difficult
Right.
for the
Right.
working person, because you would have to come up with these things and then pack your meals and all every stuff here. When I was working, I was walking to work with like 3 liters of water a day. My bag used to be excessively heavy because I was walking with all my own water,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everything I need
Mm.
to eat, I would walk
Mm-hmm.
with it, right? But then I drive, so
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it, instead of looking at how heavy the bags are, is like, I don't have a problem. I don't have to run out the road and get a taxi to leave, go from point A to point B. I have my own
Right.
vehicle,
Right. Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that helped, because there are other people who I might try to say, talk her through about it, and they
Ah.
say, but I have to travel. I have to take the bus or I have to take the maxi, and it will be too heavy. And I understand that, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, we have to look at the positive things.
Right.
We have
Got you.
that drives us to where we want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Got you. Got you. Makes sense. So let me ask you this. If you were supposed to go back to the 210-pound Lystra and coach her through the process of getting where you are today, what would you tell her? What would be step one, step two? You go for it.
Well, the first thing I will have to say
I know
is
it's a
that
loaded question,
don't
so
waste
take your
time.
time. Okay.
Don't
Mm-hmm.
waste time. Make up your mind, because it's not going to work unless you recognize for yourself, right, that you need to do it for your health, right? So once you
Mm-hmm.
make up your mind, keep going at it. Stick with it, no matter how hard it may seem. There are days, yes, you will feel lethargic. You may not feel to do anything, and listen to your body. You have to listen to your body,
Mm.
right? A lot of people tell you, keep going, push. But you are the only person who knows your body. You're living with it for over all these
Right.
years. You would know if it's a
Mm-hmm.
migraine or if it's just a stress headache, or, and listen to your body, but don't, because we tend to fall back into the old routine easily, right? So it's a
Mm.
mind thing of talking to yourself and telling yourself, listen, yes, I need to get up. I didn't do it yesterday, and that's okay, but I need to get up today. Or if I don't get up right now and do it, I will need to do it sometime during the course of the day. So you're prepping your mind that if I don't do it
Mm.
in the morning, I'll have to go and do it in the evening, right? Or
Okay.
maybe if I
Okay.
have work
Uh-huh.
at 2, yeah, because it's like everything else, you prep, yeah.
Mm.
That way,
Mm-hmm.
you have it there that yes, I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z in this afternoon, so I'm not letting anything else come in back my way. Right? The focus, the
Right.
consistency, and don't rush anything, right? If you rush things,
Mm.
you will get overwhelmed and you will want to give up faster because you may find the results are not coming as fast as you want it to. So take your time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a rush. What it is a
Got you.
lifestyle change. Yeah. And there are no quick fixes. It's a lifetime change. And once you start to see results, you will
Got you.
recognize what it is and you would want to keep going, because right now I am at 164. And every time I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm shifting the goalpost a little more. So I'm thinking of maybe going down to one, maybe going down to about a
Okay.
150.
Wow.
Yes, that is what's
Wow.
going on.
Wow.
Hmm.
Nice. Very nice. So let me just recap what you said. Don't waste time. Make up your mind to, hey, take action. Number two, prep yourself. I mean, set whatever your workout time is if you have to shift it along your day. And don't rush. Take your time. Remember, it's a lifestyle change. Yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let me ask you this now. Because just like you, there are many women where you were back at 210. They are, they know they're supposed to do something, but they're kind of still sitting on the fence. They're not sure what to do. They need some motivation. I'm going to give you the floor to speak to these ladies. What advice would you give to them?
Okay, one of the other things that I had motivation with is that at my age, I'm not even close to 6 years yet, right? And I have teenage children.
Mhm,
Actually, I had a
mhm.
son who got married last December. And it
Wow,
just keeps
congrats.
flashing in your mind. Yes. It keeps flashing in your mind that would you like to know that your children is graduating or there is a function you should go to, but you're not well. At this young age, you are stuck in bed because of whatever lifestyle problem you have. Because I mean, our bodies tell us what's going on and we have to listen to it, right? So that was
Hmm,
one of my
hmm,
fear. And when I go walking, I would see people with helpers walking with them, right? So there might there's this gentleman who had a stroke, and you could actually see he had a stroke. So he have somebody who's walking with him around the savannah, trying to help him. And when you pay attention to
hmm,
these things, you just don't observe these things just so. They are put there for you to actually see and take action, right? So I did not want to be one of bedridden or lying down in a hospital bed or have, and everybody else is moving around. You want to be there for your children, as adults as they are, to enjoy the family time. You want to enjoy the family gathering and stuff like that. So that was the
hmm,
scary part when I keep thinking about it and it keep coming to mind, right? I can do something about it now rather than wait for
hmm,
something to happen. And then I am saying, if I should have, if I had only
hmm.
paid attention, right? So we don't want that to happen, right?
Hmm.
So we have to think.
Powerful.
I mean, healthy food is expensive.
Hmm,
It's cheaper to eat the processed stuff and
hmm,
everything that's in the supermarket. However, when you think of medication and operations, how much they cost,
hmm.
you would recognize that the healthy food is way cheaper than that, right?
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Mic drop. Powerful statement. Drop. Well said. Well said, Lystra. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I've really learned things here. I mean, even though we speak so much, I've learned some things here about your journey. And I really like that last point as well because you're right. If you compare maybe a chemo session or radiology and these
Radiology,
things to what it may cost you just eat a
dialysis,
year healthy,
medicine.
is there's nothing in comparison. Dialysis, oh gosh.
Mhm.
We'll talk about the inconveniences. I like that point. I really like that point. That one really stuck with me. And thank you so much for taking this time out of your busy schedule to come and share these motivational speeches, and more importantly, your experience from where you came from to where you are today, and detailing for us the journey. We really appreciate you coming on the MIB Secrets podcast.
I'm, I am most appreciative to you and the entire team, the members of the MIB Lifestyle Change Group, because without the support as well, I mean, I can have a concern and just send a text,
Hmm,
an email, or WhatsApp, and I will get an answer, And then you have the sisters who everybody is very supportive of each other.
hmm,
So, it's a whole kind of holistic package that we get. the tips and the tricks
Hmm.
that we have learned as well on in this program is really helpful. I mean, during the over the years, I have done a lot of programs or try to lose weight in different ways, and I still have not gotten everything until I joined this program in terms of when you plateau out, what you do, and
Wow.
things like that.
Wow.
So I'm really appreciative and thankful that we met. The next mind blowing thing to me is that there are
Nice.
only 14
Definitely.
persons who is in this group, and we all have the same kind of common issues and problems, and we can all come together and work at it and support each other. That was amazing. When you hear
Hmm.
it have people, other women in different Caribbean countries, you are like,
Wow.
wow, this goes far. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I really like being a part of the group,
Mm.
and it has helped me with my lifestyle change.
Nice. I'm very happy to hear that. Really help to propel you towards your goal as well. And just like this podcast, a lot of ladies will actually listen to your interview and be transformed by the words that they hear of wisdom here tonight.
So I really hope I can
So
help
thank you.
someone out there. Yeah.
You will. Trust me. You will. Well, thank you so much. And this has brought us now to the end of this episode of the MIB Secrets. It really was one of the more powerful episodes I've done. I was immersed in the conversation right through. So thank you so much. And thank you to all our listeners. And until our next episode, I'm your host, Jason Craig. We had one of our MIB superstars, Lystra, here, sharing